Hey, it's Cordelia the Educator. Hope you are very well. And so today we're just going to simply have a little quick chit chat about grades and about parents, teachers, tutors putting too much emphasis upon grades too early for children and the impact, the negative impact that this can have upon a child's learning journey. Now, my kind of stance upon education, being an educator for many years, and I've taught all the way from preschool all the way up to through grammar school, all the way through to secondary school. So I've had quite a lot of experience in the field of education, and I've really enjoyed the journey. But I've also, along the way, I've been able to pick up a lot of little nuggets and support parents to educate their children outside of the school walls as well, so that they're nurturing and fostering this love for learning, which children they have from when they are young. They're born. It's an innate thing to want to learn, to want to experiment, to try things out through trial and error, to put things together, to smash cars together. You know, when children smash cars together, that's them experimenting to see what the outcome is. It's like a little mini science experiment when they pick up rocks. And you know, my 4-year-old's still doing this, and he picks up rocks, and he's always got loads of little rocks in his pocket, which drives me crazy. I end up throwing most of them in the bin, but let's not talk about that. But they are experimenting, they're investigating. You know, they realize that rocks aren't all the same. They're not all the same color, they're not all the same shape, they're not all the same size, they're not all the same weight. So much science, so much mathematics wrapped in just collecting rocks. And children are born learners. It's an innate skill that they already have, and it's up to us to foster this beautiful love for learning that they have, and to not squash it and to not pop it into a box which is categorized such as maths, science and English. For me, you know, the subject should be crossed. They call it extracurricular in schools, but for me it's just simply not categorizing and not boxing off learning. Why should when they have a book out, why shouldn't they be doing mathematics and looking at the page numbers as well? Why shouldn't they be looking at the contents page and trying to find a page number and going backwards and forwards and just doing a little bit of maths at the same time? You know, when they are, I don't know, when they're doing English, why aren't they thinking about the way that they are able to read, how an eye works, and how the light is reflected back at us, so we can actually see the words on the page. Why are words usually predominantly in black on a white paper? Why is that so, and how does that help us to actually see? And there's so much science wrapped in that as well. But the one reason that I wanted to come on today is because we've been having this conversation a lot about grades, and my sort of stance upon grades and not putting too much emphasis on them from a young age is because grades are only a reflection of where that child was in their learning journey at that particular moment, and what they could actually retain at that particular moment. And I do think that putting too much emphasis upon the grade that they're going to get too early, yes, I know that grades have a massive impact upon jobs, although not so much these days, but that's another story for another time. But I really do believe that we as teachers, a lot of the time, and even parents, we put way too much emphasis on grades. What grade have you got? You know, make sure that you get this grade, and then unhappy if their child doesn't get a great grade. Unbeknown to them, maybe they were super tired and they didn't retain as much information, and they couldn't remember something, or they woke up, you know, they had a bad dream last night and it negatively impacted their outcome. All of these things, you know, maybe in the morning they had a fight with their friend, or I don't know, they stepped in a puddle and and their sock is wet. All these things will negatively impact, or can negatively impact the outcome, because a grade is only a reflection of what that child could retain at that particular moment. And so I'm going to kind of like sum this up and advise parents not to put too much emphasis upon grades, more emphasis upon them enjoying their learning journey, and supporting them to foster that love for learning, that enjoyment of learning, and ensuring that they're not only learning when a book is open, but we're crossing the subjects and making sure that, for example, if they're reading, we're looking at the images, maybe on the, we're looking at the images and probably thinking about the science associated with it, and the science associated with being able to see, and really thinking about nurturing nurturing their want and their love for learning that they were already born with. And that's me for today. Yeah, that's all I kind of like wanted to jump on and say, really, is just, try your best to stop categorizing and forcing their learning into that's maths, that's science, that's English. And when the learning stops, stop. No, learning is everywhere. And once our children see the beauty of learning, once they start to enjoy their learning journey, we won't even have to think about grades, because they'll be getting them anyway, because they'll understand the information, and and it will be relative to them. And when you make something relative, even as adults, when you make something relative, we understand it more, we want to know more, we enjoy the information, and we are forwarding ourselves by asking questions as well. And that's the beauty of learning. When you see a child wanting to know more, not because they want to stretch for an A or stretch for a 9 or stretch for, but we want them to ask questions because they're enjoying their learning, and it's relative to them and their lives, and it's a wondrous learning journey that they're going on, and it's not stressful. It's something that they're enjoying and something that they love, because they will go heaps and bounds ahead, and we won't even have to worry about grades if we can support our children to enjoy and love their learning journey in the first place. It's Cordelia Cooper, the educator, and I will see you on the next one. Ciao for now.